Aloha Hawaiiverse podcast listeners. This episode is brought to you by Farmers Market Hawaii, a brand with integrity-based cultural designs inspired by the life of Hawaii and its history. They're one of the biggest streetwear brands in Hawaii. You love them, I love them. Their hats are awesome, their clothes are awesome. It's always so meaningful wearing something from Farmers Market Hawaii. Shout out to Keone, the owner of it. He's amazing, doing awesome things for the community. Make sure you support them. Mahalo to them for sponsoring this episode, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast. Aloha everybody, welcome to the Hawaiiverse podcast, a podcast that supports local by using the line on our finger to measure out the water when we cook rice. I'm your host Kamakatias, and I honestly don't know how that works every time, but I'm still gonna do it. We got a very impressive guest today, but before we introduce him, let me tell you about this week's local business giveaway being provided by Sportsbox Hawaii, Hawaii's first sports simulator designed for entertainment. They are giving away a gift certificate for 2 boxes for 2 hours worth over $300. It's so fun. You can play soccer, baseball, golf, hockey, bowling, and much more. So make sure you head to Hawaiiverse on Instagram to enter. Okay, let's introduce our guest. Our guest today is a Native-Hawaiian Filipino, Italian, Chinese, Emmy award-winning jack of all trades from the island of Lanaʻi. He has done it all. He's a DJ, comedian, chef, TV, and podcast host, actor, entrepreneur, and father of 2 girls. He is the winner of Food Network's Great Food Truck Race Season 4, was a co-host with Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations, and currently he hosts Cooking Hawaiian Style, which is in its 16th season, a TV show that airs in 7 countries on the Lifestyle Network, DirecTV, and Time Warner Cable. He has produced and co-hosted I-94 Video Jams, 4 seasons of Janken Po, and has been touring the United States doing stand-up comedy openings for people like Henry Kapono, Andy Bumatai, Augie T, Brady, and Damon Wayons. He's a 25-year radio veteran and co-created the Island 98.5 radio station and is also on air in Tokyo and Fukuoka, Japan. I told you he is impressive, and I am out of breath. His name is Lanai Tabura, but most of you know him as Lanai. Aloha, Lanai. Welcome to the podcast.
That's the best introduction I've ever had. Jesus Christ. I'm going to hire you. Take you on the road.
I have to do a lot of breath exercises just to get through that one.
Thanks for all the acknowledgments.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've earned it. I'm stoked that you're here. We kind of just organically crossed paths.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I love how that happened.
Yeah.
It was serendipitous. So mahalo for taking some time out of your busy
thanks for having me,
and
congratulations on what you're doing. I think everyone who promotes Hawaii, needs to be commended and recognized. I've been promoting Hawaii, the best I can, and to see you doing it is awesome. To watch watch what you're doing is cool.
Well, you're an inspiration to me and many others, so I'm excited to talk stories. You're truly a jack of all trades. So I gotta know, how's your ping pong and darts game, though?
I can play ping pong. I love darts.
Is there anything you're not good at?
Oh, there's a lot of things. I just do things that I love to do or try. My mom always said, you got to try everything once. Mm-hmm. So whenever I try it and like it, then I keep doing it. Nice. That's all.
That's what you gotta do. Just follow your passion. Follow what you love.
Yeah.
Right on. So we got so much to get into, but before we get into that, I gotta know where you from, where you grad, and what was it like growing up?
Good question. I'm graduate of Lanaʻi High School. Yes, my alma mater. And grew up on Lanaʻi, small island for those who don't know. Population is about 3,000. No stoplights. We left our keys in the car. Wow. We all slept with the same girl. One of those small kind islands. You know what I mean? You're from Big Island.
Hilo or Lanai? What are you talking about?
Same.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit same, right? It was fun. My mom raised 4 boys on her own, which I think what's given my drive or what created me to be so driven. Growing up on a little island, you didn't have money and you didn't have a father. All you did was dream, right? You're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And you couldn't do it when you were there because obviously there wasn't those capabilities. But as soon as I graduated, I came to Oahu. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship, and it was part of a volleyball program at Hawaii Pacific University. And as soon as I moved here, I got a job doing radio. So I was 17, I got my first gig, and it just was running from there, like nonstop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're so humble. You forgot to mention you were all-state volleyball. Let's not leave that part out.
Thank you. Somebody recognize that. I've done a bunch of interviews, and I think you're the second person to acknowledge my volleyball career.
Yeah,
Nobody believes me. I'm too short. You know what I mean?
What were you, libero?
I was a setter, actually.
Oh, okay.
But I think I made All-State junior, sophomore, and senior year. Sophomore, juniors, yeah. But it was Maui Interscholastic League. So yeah, I love volleyball.
Nice.
A lot of people don't realize. I go to a lot of volleyball games and I hide up in the nosebleed area.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the sports life on Lanaʻi because it's so small.
Yeah.
You just play against the same people? Or
No. So we had one high school, and then you were part of the Maui Interscholastic League. Okay. So you played Molokai, who was your rivals, and then you played all the Maui teams. So we're constantly flying, catching a boat. It's only 9 miles to Maui. Take you about 45 minutes on a boat, 20 minutes by plane. So we were always raising money to play sports. But I played baseball, volleyball, and basketball. Those were my three. So I was continuously working out, which my mom, I commend her, because having 4 boys, growing up on a little island, you can get into a lot of mischief. And she kept us in sports so we wouldn't get caught up in drugs or, everything else that you can think of. So all I did was work out from my freshman or to my 7th, 8th grade year till 12th grade. And Lanaʻi was known for one of the top, the best physical fitness team in the United States. Every year the girls and boys team would win. So I would train with some of those guys because some of the guys played volleyball or some of them might have played basketball. So whenever it was off season, I was training with somebody who was on the physical fitness team. Oh, nice. And yeah, so I'm a big sports guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's your sports team for football, basketball?
Football is any local boy that's playing anywhere. Right. You know what I mean? So like I've been a Miami fan because of Tua. I've been watching the Raiders because Marcus. Now he's with now he's with the Falcons. Yeah. So yeah, wherever there's a local boy, I love to watch. Basketball, I'm a Laker fan.
Okay.
Yeah, even how shitty they are, how crappy they are or whatever.
Oh, no, you can say whatever you want. There's no rules.
I don't know why I've always been a Laker fan. Baseball, kind of wherever the local boys play as well, but I've always been a Dodger fan. Okay. I got a lot of family in LA, so go to a lot of the games whenever I can too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, excuse me. I can imagine growing up on Lanaʻi was you always needed to find something to do, right? There's not a lot of things to do. I'm guessing it's similar to Hilo, probably a lot of outdoor things to do.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to just go down the wrong path, hang out with the wrong people, get into drugs, drinking, making babies, smoking weed. The usual, small town vibes.
Totally. And then and I also not just played sports, but loved to fish and dive. I dived, through high school and surfed all through high school, and whatever you could possibly think of. Yeah. Outdoors, you got there.
I have to ask you, because I talked about this with Kiana a couple of episodes ago. Because some people say Kauai, some people say Kauai, some people say Lanai, Molokai. What is it?
It's Lanaʻi, and it depends what family you talk to on Molokai, because it's Molokai and Molokai. I think it's the only island that it goes both ways.
Yes, I've heard stories about how some of the kupunas used to say Molokai.
Yeah. So most people say Lanaʻi.
Okay.
Yeah, and the only person who actually pronounces my name, my Lanaʻi correct, is Leslie Wilcox, who was with Channel 2, and BJ Penn's mom. Okay. Everyone else says Lanai. But it's Lanaʻi.
So when you created this name for yourself, or you were given, what is the story? So how come people say Lanai over Lanaʻi?
Chantil Don Sweeney, who used to be a famous DJ here, he passed away just recently. He was like one of Hawaii's biggest DJs. When I was 16, he emceed my prom on Lanaʻi, and we became friends. He always sent shout out to me on the radio because, there was no social media. Radio was social media. And he would also always call me the Lanai Boy. He'd always say the Lanai Boy or the Lanai Boy. And then when I moved to Honolulu, I was hanging out with him in the studio. He had me do a commercial for him. And his boss was like, hey, this guy got a cool sound. You want a job? And that's how I got in the loop. And everybody in the studio would call me Lanai Boy because they never knew anybody from Lanai. Yeah. And the name stuck. Nobody ever said my name. They always just said, oh, the Lanai Boy's here. That Lanai Boy is here. And the Hilo Boy is here or whatever. And it just stuck. So I kept it. And it worked out because how do you say it? I'm kind of a private person. I don't like to, indulge too much. In my younger years, I don't really care now, but I was always more on the private side, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah. So you never ever corrected anybody like
No.
Lanai?
No.
You just rode with it.
Yeah.
Like,
And they say Lanai. Why Lanai? I said I was made on a porch, raised on an island.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a great story. Lanai. Okay, so how did you get into cooking and all of that?
So my mom raising 4 boys on her own. We had a 1-acre garden, very poor. You know, when my dad left, I was 12, I think I was, and she was like, "You got to cook dinner for your brothers. I got to go to work," and she had like 3 jobs just for us to survive. So, you know, after 4 days of eating Spam and rice, my brothers were sick of it because I was the oldest, so I would cook for them every night. And just growing up in that sense, there's no fast food on Lanaʻi. We didn't have a lot of money to go buy food. We started fishing and hunting because there's a lot of venison on Lanaʻi. We started getting creative and just started cooking whatever we could possibly get our hands on. And it became a family thing. You know, my grandfather, my grandmother, everyone cooks. My 3 brothers are amazing cooks. My 3rd brother, Adam, who did the food truck race with me, he's been on a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
He's awesome. The guy's cooked for everybody from Steve Jobs to, you know, NFL players. He became a private chef. But he's really the star as far as cooking. I don't never say I'm a chef. I don't even like people saying, "Hey, chef." I'm like, no, I'm not a chef. I didn't go to school. You know, I cook in a big pot. I cook comfort food.
Yeah.
I cook local kind stuff. You know what I mean? So I never like people labeling me as a chef. I commend all the chefs out there for all the hard work they do and going to school. I never went to school, and I hate working in a kitchen. It's so hot. But I worked in a kitchen all through high school as well.
Yeah.
You know, different restaurants. And so I got into the business aspect of it. And then the cooking show. I wanted to do the cooking show to promote the businesses.
Okay.
And they kind of went hand in hand. And when you have a cooking show, I think people assume you're a chef. But if
Yeah.
you watch the show, I'm not cooking.
Yeah.
Other people are cooking for me.
That's why it's cooking with.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Cooking Hawaiian Style.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Wow, yeah, I saw a couple episodes. You have some pretty awesome guests. It
Yeah.
must be fun, right? You just...
It's awesome. You got to come on. Can you cook? You make Simon?
Maybe.
Then
My
you can come
specialty...
on.
My specialty when I lived in Madagascar for 3 years.
No way.
I'd always make pancakes. That was my specialty.
Yeah, you can come on and make pancakes.
Yeah.
Go on a tourist. Came on twice, I think, and made pancakes.
Yeah, you know what would be cool? I could make some ravi tutu, which is this Malagasy dish.
Wow.
So I was in the Peace Corps for 3 years. I lived in Madagascar.
I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, Anthony Bourdainʻs had an episode
I
of
know.
that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
He told me about it. His crew, you know, I spent a couple days with him. He was telling me about all the crazy places, you know, they've been. I want to go there.
Yeah, let me know. You got a tour guide. I speak the
will.
local language.
For sure.
You're good. Yeah, so, yeah, that you do that. I'm trying to think of all these comparisons from you growing up with no fast food and, you know, small town, like to when I lived in Madagascar, living in the middle
Probably
of nowhere.
the same deal,
Probably
right?
the same way. There's no fast food.
Yeah.
I'm 4 hours away from the capital.
One girl you all had to go after.
Well, I had to
Or
behave.
one guy.
I had to behave. I had to behave over there because as Peace Corps volunteers, everybody knows you.
Everybody
You
knows.
stick out. You're a celebrity.
How
over
many
there.
people live there?
Where I lived, there was about 8,000 people spread out through different communes.
That's like Molokai.
Yeah.
There's about 8,000 people live there.
But huge, like real
Yeah.
spread out.
Right.
Like I would bike 2 hours to my friend's site.
So like Bali.
I mean, I haven't been to Bali, but
Yeah, well, it's kind of,
I assume it's like that. But it was cool because you get to go to the market, say hi to everybody, bargain for your food.
Right.
You see everything so fresh, right?
Yeah.
And it takes away the convenience of it all from
Yeah.
going to the super
Oh, I love it.
But it's so much more rewarding when you
100%.
you have to go from where it grows to like farm
Yeah.
to table, right?
It's like Vietnam and
yeah.
these other countries. That's why I love going to these countries. It's still like that.
Yeah. Do you eat fast food these days?
I love Taco Bell. Like I
a guilty
want
pleasure.
Taco Bell to sponsor me. I've been trying for years. They have this
Why
Taco
wouldn't
Bell.
they?
They have this. I don't know. They have
Taco
this
Bell,
Taco
come
Bell
on.
program. It's an ambassador program that one of my friends was on, and they invite you every like Thanksgiving to this Taco Bell feast, and they give you all this Taco Bell swag, and you get to try all the new dishes they're trying to put on the menu.
Oh,
And it's like a feast.
that's cool.
And yeah, I've been trying to get on. Come on, Taco Bell. It's the only
Yeah.
fast food I really eat. I'll eat a fillet of fish once in a while from McDonald's, but I'm not a big fast food guy. Love
Yeah.
Zippy's. Zippy's my
Yeah.
jam. It's not fast
I guess,
food though.
Yeah, I guess in a way it is
Yeah.
fast food, but
Kind of,
not
but-
like drive-through.
Right.
Kind of, yeah. Okay, so you graduated from Lanai High School, went to Oahu, started going into radio, and then your career just took off from there. What happened? What was the catalyst? What was the moment that just...
There was a
The
few
turning point.
I think there was a few things that happened, and I think it was because there was no social media.
Mhm.
There was 4 channels here in Hawaii for television. There was a dozen radio stations. I started doing radio with Jimmy the Geek and Alan Oda. The cruiser Alan Oda, who's one of my best friends. Jimmy's still one of my great friends. We created a group called the Three Local Boys.
Yeah.
And we put out a song as a joke to Me So Horny. And we were getting complaints, I think, was for playing it on the air. So we created a spoof and did Me So Hungry and put all the local restaurants in it. And it blew up. Blew up, and we got an offer from a record label and said, hey, you want to put an album together. So we put an album together, and we did a whole album. And then Alan was getting out of radio and getting into management and all that. So we hired a new third local boy, which was Hawaiian Ryan. Ryan Matsumoto. He's one of the funniest guys I know. Today, he's still one of my favorite funny guys. He became the third local boy, and we did Rice Rice Baby.
Yeah, classic
And then we
song.
did I'm a Filipino, and it just took off on the West Coast. Rick Dees played it. L.A. everyone played it, basically. And it was on cassette. We sold thousands and thousands of cassettes, and then we started touring. And then every time a artist would come to town from Cypress Hill, all the names I'm going to spit out, we opened for. Cypress Hill, Tone Loc, SWV, the list goes on of all these artists that would come perform.
Wow.
They would have us MC and then break out into the Three Local Boys, and the place would go crazy.
That's
But it really was the Three Local Boys and the springboard of New Generation. You probably don't know New Generation. It was
never heard
the first boy band in Hawaii.
Oh.
They signed with Warner Brothers. Huge. They did the song Sweet Okole. Go look it up.
Yeah,
Look it
I have
up.
to look it up.
But anyway, that was the springboard because we opened for them. It was the same record label. And then we started traveling and opening for, I remember we opened for Stevie B, on all the islands. We opened for the Boys. Yeah, it was fun, man. And I was young too, and I was maybe just turned 21, maybe 20.
And were you still in college at this point? Or you?
Oh, no, don't even mention that. My mom's pissed about that still.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I actually was going to college for communications.
Hey, that's
After,
why I do it.
After about a year and a half, I noticed that college was not my thing, and I was already doing radio, and the money was coming in, so I kind of got sidetracked and blinded by that, which I think worked out in my favor. Making a good living doing it, and yeah, I always think about going back to school.
What would you go back for?
History. I love history. I'm a huge history buff. I travel the world for history and food mostly. I started taking classes to shout out to my kumu, Makanani, taking Hawaiian classes, learning the language again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've had only 6-7 classes so far. I've been doing private with a couple of friends. So that's been fun because I noticed that I've been learning it wrong my whole life.
What do you mean by that? How
Things are kind of backwards the way
the structure.
Yeah,
is
the structure
backwards,
is backwards, right? And pronunciations. For years people always ask me to host, Hawaiian events, and I've always had this little fear of it because of mispronouncing things, and that's I call it being respectful to it because I don't want to mispronounce it, So, and my 2 girls went to Hawaiian Charter School, so I didn't get to, because I traveled so much, I didn't get to get involved in the language part of it. But yeah, I love it though.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that because I always tell people it's never too late to learn.
Yeah,
And
never.
I went to a Hawaiian immersion school all my life. When
Nice.
I was all of that, and it's cool because how the system is set up, it's really good for parents and the family to learn as the kid is learning.
Yeah.
So some people would put their kids in Hawaiian immersion schools, and they would be learning Hawaiian just like the child is learning.
Yeah.
And I think that's the coolest part. So I yeah, I hope nothing but the best for you. And mahalo for taking the initiative.
I got to, you know, it's my kuleana.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
And you learn so much. When you're learning the language, but you learn so much history behind it. The street signs, why is that Vineyard Boulevard even? You know,
everything has meaning.
Everything has a meaning. You know, it's been pretty awesome. And then I've been doing a lot of pop-up dinners around Hawaiian food. So I tell the story of why the ahu poa'a and the sustainability and what the foods came out of the ahu poa'a. And I partner with different chefs, and we do 5-6 course dinners and have a mo'olelo behind the dinner. And we make them private and expensive and exclusive and almost like a speakeasy. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing a lot of that for the last 7-8 years. I've been doing them in San Francisco every 3 months. I've been doing Manila, Tokyo, Jakarta. I've been doing them all over the world, just teaching people about our food. Because people think a spam musubi is Hawaiian. I go, it's not. It's Hawaiian style, but it's not Hawaiian, you know. Just all those, you know, the little things, shave ice, malasadas. It's not Hawaiian, but it's Hawaiian style, you know. So I've been on a mission to educate people about our food.
Oh, I love that. I talked a little bit about that with Mark Noguchi.
Yeah. Gooch is doing an awesome job.
Yeah, the misconception between Hawaiian culture and local culture.
Yeah.
And within that is the food. You know, like, what is Hawaiian food?
Yeah.
Even we would think lomi salmon is Hawaiian food.
No.
But we didn't have salmon back in the days.
Missionaries brought it over on a boat. And what's cool about the reason I chose food was because you can get, when I travel, I always set up food tours because you can learn people's culture through their food. Food brings people together, but you can also learn their culture. You know, your culture is deep in food, you know. Anywhere you go, they have their own style.
Yeah. I think that's what's cool about Hawaiian culture too, because if you get into the history of it, you can go back to how it was traditionally made, like in an imu.
Yep.
And you know, just growing it with like an ahu poa'a system.
Yeah.
How everybody had their roles, how mauka led to makai, and everything was needed. Everybody needed to do their role for everybody to succeed. If one person was slacking, the whole thing would be messed up.
The whole system screwed up. Yeah. I probably can't give you too much, but I'm working on a new program right now with a huge hotel chain here in the state, and we're creating not a luau, but an experience with Hawaiian food, traditional Hawaiian food. And it's not going to have dancing. It's just based on food.
It's not commercialized.
And it's not commercialized. And the hardest part is getting the right people to tell that story. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's going to be awesome. We've been working on it for about a year now, and I can't wait to announce it because it's like one of my biggest pride and joys out of everything that I've been doing. Yeah. Working on this project has been amazing.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. You're going to come. I'll invite you to the grand opening.
Yes, I would love to see that. One thing that always, you know, it doesn't sit well with me is these luau's and how it's like they do these, you know, hula dancing.
Very commercialized.
And, super, super touristy. Yeah. And so when people come over or come visit and they're like, I want to do a luau, I have to explain to them the whole thing. Like, okay, luau's aren't really a thing. Like, yes, we have ho'olaule's, we have luau's with our family, but it's not what you're seeing over there. It's like going to your auntie or uncle's house and just eating and hanging out, you know. So it's not
the misconception might be a good thing is, like, for example, like the poi, you're probably eating dehydrated, add water kind poi, or you know what I mean? So it's the misconception of our food or misinterpretation of our food is not right, which sucks. But you know, at the end of the day, it's about money, right? How many tickets can you sell?
Yeah, that's the reality. Well, so we're talking about food, and I see your shirt, Aloha Plate. Yeah. Which is the name of the food truck, right? Yeah. That you had on the great food truck race. Yeah. Which I wish I watched when it came out.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu, so I can maybe binge watch it.
Yeah, right now they're airing Great Food Truck Race All-Stars. We just did the All-Stars.
Okay. I'll bet you $100 that a couple of local boys win. Season 4.
Season 4, yeah. All right.
So tell me about that experience. My mom always talks about it.
Oh, really?
Every time, I would say, you know, who I'm thinking of getting on for a guest, and she's like, oh yeah, I loved it when he was on.
Oh, that's so sweet. Tell her I said hi. Hi, Auntie.
Hi,
Mom. It changed my life for sure. You know, when you're in this business, the entertainment business or whatever you want to call it, I don't know if I'm an entertainer. You always have to rebuild yourself. It's like every 10 years. Like, I did radio for so long and then it fizzled out. What was I going to do next? I had to do TV. You have to keep rebranding yourself to stay alive in this business. And that show totally catapulted me in another direction. After I did Bourdain, he helped me with a bunch of Food Network shows, and I helped. Either they'd come to town and I would consult, or I was on the show, from drive-ins, diners, and dives to Man vs. Food. And I started getting into that world of food and culture, and I loved it because that's what I do and what I was passionate about. So when we got called to do this show, the story is amazing. I actually just finished writing a book, and the whole story is in the book, the behind-the-scenes story. My brother, Adam, I'm one of his biggest fans. He saved a man from drowning on Lanaʻi.
I was going to ask you about that because my mom also brought that up.
And, you growing up surfing and on Lanai, you always pulling people out of the water, And it was one of those things where this guy was a professor, and he said, "Hey, Adam, how can I repay you?" And my brother's like, "Oh, no, you don't need to repay me. You're my friend now, We call it Aloha. Mm-hmm. And long story short, he went looking for my brother the next day. Through conversation, my brother just graduated. He said he wanted to go to culinary school, but he couldn't afford it. The guy sends him a check in the mail to go to culinary school in Oregon, full ride, pays for everything. My brother graduates. Food Network comes around. Sean Felipe, my brother, who goes to an audition, and next to the audition, he's a comedian. Mm-hmm. He was opening for Joe Coy, and he's a local boy from Pearl City. Goes to an audition, and next door was the Food Network audition. Mm-hmm. And he thought he'd check it out. So he goes in and he auditions, and he calls me up. He goes, "Hey, I just went to this audition for the Food Network, and it's a team of 3. It's called the Great Food Truck." I never heard of it. It's called the Great Food Truck Race, and I told him that you and Adam were my teammates. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Oh, thanks for throwing us in, right?" And he goes, I said, "All right, if we get it, you're driving the truck, because I know Adam ain't going to drive it, and I'm not driving no food truck." So he said, "Done deal." We get a call 2 weeks later. "Hey, we want to interview you guys, blah, blah, blah. Can you come?" I thought it was in Hawaii, and I said, like a week before, the lady goes, casting director says, "You need to be on the lot." I said, "What lot?" She said, "Paramount, or Warner Brothers, I think it was." And I said, "Wait a minute, this is in LA?" And I go, "We're in Hawaii." And she goes, "Well, you said you could come." And I said, "You didn't tell me it was in LA. You just said, can I come to an audition?" Just so happened I got hired to do stand-up in LA that weekend. Oh. So I called her back and said, "You know what? I'm going to be there, but I can't make the time." She goes, "What time is your plane land?" I said 11. She goes, "Get there as soon as you can," because the audition started at 6 in the morning till about 10. She goes, "Get there as soon as you can." The plane was delayed. I get there at 1 o'clock. I call her up. I land. She goes, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm on my way. I'm sorry, the plane was delayed." I book it down there. She goes, "Just get here as fast as you can." I book it down there. There's 3 cameras in a room, and there's 3 producers sitting down. And I show up with a box of Hawaiian chocolate, macadamia nuts, and coffee, and whatever I could, right? So I give it to everybody. She goes, and as she's walking me, and she goes, "You got 10 minutes. You got to schmooze them over with your personality, whatever you can do for 10 minutes. I said, "No problem." Hour and a half later, I was in there for an hour and a half, wow, telling them stories about Hawaii. Who doesn't love Hawaii? Mm-hmm. They all been to Hawaii before. Yeah. They always wanted to know about the food and this, and I was giving them the history about Hawaiian food, the history about taro and, kalo and the whole 9. We got the gig. Wow. So we fly up. Very difficult thing to do. We start from Beverly Hills. It's almost a 2-month race. Every week a truck gets eliminated. You stop in these different towns. We had no clue how this thing worked. The first show, if you watch Beverly Hills, I think we're the bottom 2. We were bottom 3. We barely made it out of there. And then we had to go to San Francisco, and we're trying to figure out how it works. Now, when I say figure out how it works, is they don't tell you where to park. You get a ticket, you got to pay. It goes against your till. Wow. It all's the bottom line, right? So we're trying to figure it out. And then by San Francisco, I tell Adam, we're driving to San Francisco. I said, "When's the last time you've been to San Francisco?" He goes, oh, Mr. Porter, the guy that I saved drowning, sent me up here. And I go, what did he send you up for? He goes, remember when I saved him from drowning when he sent me the school check? I go, yeah, he sent me a plane ticket to go to San Francisco before I went to school. He was accepting an award at a banquet. He was a professor, and he goes on stage and he tells the crowd, hey, before I accept this award, I got to thank this brown kid sitting at my table because I wouldn't be here today if he didn't save my life.
Wow.
I was like, wow, interesting. Adam never told me these little things. And you know, you have these long car rides with him. You're gonna find things to talk about. So then we win San Francisco, and then we go to Oregon. We're going to Oregon, and I go, hey, when's the last time you've been to Oregon? He goes, I went to culinary school here, remember? I was like, oh, yeah, crazy, culinary school, blah, blah, blah. I said, Oregon doesn't have anywhere to park publicly. You need to park on private property. He goes, let me call some people. He calls a couple of his usos that have a nightclub in Oregon, right across the street from Voodoo Donuts. It's one of the busiest, craziest donut spots in the world. And he tells them we need a place to park. We also need an ATM machine. The usos make us a parking stall right across the street, bring us an ATM machine. We go visit some friends that work at Nike University. They bring all the employees from Nike because they have a Hawaiian club. The Oregon Hawaiian Club shows up. All the Oregon colleges who have Hawaiian clubs, they all show up. There was like 1,000 people waiting for us there. Drive to Idaho. I called Brooke Lee. Said, do you know anybody in Idaho? We're going to Idaho. She's like, for what? I said, we're doing this race. I couldn't say what it was for, but we're selling food out of a food truck. She goes, did you know Idaho has a place called Augie right above Pocatello? And I go, we're going to Pocatello. We're going to Pocatello, Idaho. She goes, above it is a place called Augie. And there was a Hawaiian man who helped some fur traders from the West Coast bring fur into Idaho, and he got lost in the mountains, so they named it Hawaii because they couldn't pronounce Hawaii. So there was a connection there again. Cool. She calls some people. We're going to a gas station. This brother's walking on the street, big sole with a shirt that has High Life on the back. And my brother goes, pull over, that guy's from Hawaii. So we pull over, and it's by a gas station. I go, brah, we from Hawaii. And he looks in the car. He goes, Lanai, what you doing here? And I go, we're doing this thing. I need everyone to come out tomorrow. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I play football for Boise, but I live in Pocatello now. And I said, can you tell everybody? Here's my number. The next day, calls me up. His wife is on the phone. She goes, Lanai, this is so-and-so. I forgot her name. I apologize. He goes, my dad is Junior Ayu, the famous football player from Kahuku. My dad said, he loves you. Anything you need, let me know. I said, I just need people to come to the truck tomorrow. Today. It's at 11 o'clock. We go to the parking spot. I tell them where we're going to be. There's 1,000 people standing in the parking. People drove from Boise, ex-football players from Hawaii, everybody. 1,000 people standing in the parking lot waiting for us. We win Idaho. We go to the next spot. Every city that we went through, Hawaiians showed up. But the biggest one was Minnesota, where it's raining. Capital of spam. It's raining sideways. It's 40 degrees, and you got 3 guys in shorts and T-shirt. We're driving by this, looking for a place to park. We're driving by an ice cream shop, and there's a guy with a UH hat. I go, pull over. Pull over. We got to talk to this guy in the UH hat. We pull over, and he looks. He goes, you guys from Hawaii? And we go, yeah. I go, what's with the UH hat? You from Hawaii? He goes, no, my girlfriend is. She owns the ice cream shop. I said, we need to meet her. We go in the ice cream shop, and I said, hey, we're doing this food truck race. We need a place to park. She goes, you should talk to this guy. He runs Frozen Ohana. I go, what's Frozen Ohana? He goes, it's about 3,000 Hawaiians who live in Minnesota who have been transplanted either from work or school. Classic. And he created this Facebook group. And every 6 months or every summer, they have a big barbecue because they get homesick. So we hook up with him, and I said, we're going to park at this ice cream shop. We show up. Tents all down the street. It had to be over 1,000 people. And they didn't show it on the show. Tents down the street. Wow. And then they gave us Spam to cook with, because every city they give you something else to cook with. So we used Spam, killed it.
Oh, easy.
Then we went to Chicago. We go to Chicago. I call Brooke Lee. So you know anybody in Chicago? She goes, no, but there's a lady there that has a Hawaiian club. Call her up. She goes, where are you guys going to be? So we need a place to park on Saturday. She goes, oh, great. Do you know what today is? No. It's Kamehameha Day. And I go, really? She goes, yeah, but we're going to celebrate it on Saturday. So come park at our Kamehameha Day event. We get to the event. There's 1,000 people, Hawaiians from living in Chicago that are there. We get all the way to the last. We went there. We get to the last city, which is D.C. I call Ashley Nagaoka from Channel 9 News. She was working in D.C. at the time. I said, hey, we're here. I need your help. She goes, go park at this station. There's an event going on there, whatever. Just so happens across the street, there's a hula halau. There's about 1,000 people from D.C. waiting for us at the truck, holding Hawaiian flags and everything. Wow. We were behind, though. We were behind the first place team, $1,000 in 5 hours. So we really needed to catch up because they won the challenge in Chicago.
Okay, and it's based on how much money
you sell, how much money you make.
Okay, yeah. So whoever makes the most in that city.
Yeah. So we had a cooking challenge. They won the one in Chicago, so they went up on us $1,000.
Oh, so it's like a head start.
Head start. Yeah. So we had to get it going because it was the last city. Lines down the street. We have 1 hour to sell. I'm taking it. Every ticket that we take and it goes in the truck is considered counted. If these people are standing in line, it's not counted. So I'm trying to get as many tickets as I can, orders, right? And there's only Adam and Sean in the truck, and I'm taking orders. A lady comes up with like 4 kids, and she goes, I really need to talk to Adam. I said, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We're so busy. We got an hour left. Can I take your order? She goes, I drove from Baltimore, and we've been here for 4 hours waiting for you guys. Just give me 10 seconds. I got to leave. I was like, all right. I didn't want to be rude. I go in the truck. Adam, this lady wants to talk to you. She drove from Baltimore. And he's like, you can't fucking see what I'm doing. Sweating, trying to get all these tickets, There's 1,000 people. And meanwhile, there's a concert going on. They're dancing hula. There's a band. Everything's going on. It was crazy. Chicken skin, did I tell you. Yeah. So he comes out and he takes off his thing. And the lady goes, Adam, I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to tell you something. I had to say thank you. And he's like, oh, yeah, thank you for what? She goes, you see these kids here, they would have never met their grandfather if you didn't save their life, if you didn't save his life.
Oh, that's crazy chicken skin.
Bro, everybody was crying. Camera guys, sound guys. We were all just like choked up. And then right at that moment, I don't know what happened, but everyone started singing Hawaii Aloha. Like everyone got in a group saying, and we didn't announce it or anything, just the people around us and the camera guys and the sound guy and the director was like, what the fuck just happened,
Nuts. I just got chicken skin.
Yeah, I got chicken.
I have chicken skin in the back of my I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, every time I tell the story, I get a little choked up. But yeah, we were bawling. It was like, oh my God, I can't wait to get home. And then we won. So it just shows you how the Aloha spirit, Hawaii, and food brings people together, but also what it does for you, for your soul.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, I always say connections are great, but connections.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And the whole theme of that was all these connections, in LA, Idaho, Minnesota.
And I gave you the
DC.
Short version. There's so many little things that went on in between this thing.
Gotta read your book in the future. Yeah. That is so cool.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of Slumdog Millionaire.
100%. That was us.
Yeah.
And the challenges that we had along the way was Slumdog Millionaire. Like we had to carve up a buffalo, because in North Dakota you had to be a buffalo truck. So you can do anything you want with the buffalo. You can make them buffalo locomoco. You can make teriyaki buffalo. You can do whatever you want, but you had to use buffalo. And when we got there, no one knew how to carve a buffalo. We're hunters. We hunt deer. We cut up the deer when we catch them. So we knew how to cut it up. So we were done in 5 minutes. Took all the best pieces, left all the scraps for the other teams. my brother was like samurai, and then I mean different things happened. Idaho, there was we had to shoot a thing at a potato farm.
Wow.
And the name of the potato farm was called Wada Potatoes, WADA. Yeah. And we had a lunch break because we were filming the welcoming scene. And I tell my brother, let's go walk into the factory. And in the front there was a receptionist and there was a glass with a guy sitting behind it. And I go, hey, who owns this place? Wada sounds Japanese. And she goes, oh, yeah, it's a Japanese family. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, the guy sitting behind me is a Japanese guy. So I go, can I meet him? So he came out and we talked and he's like, you guys from Hawaii? And I go, yeah. He goes, I love Hawaii. He goes, can I take you on a tour? So he took us a tour of the potato factory. This potato factory provides McDonald's with all their potatoes. Wow. That's how big they are. That day after the tour, he fell in love with us. I go, hey, tomorrow we're going to be at this so-and-so place. Can you invite the people from your work? His brother, who's older, and his father, who run the factory, Mr. Wada, come before this guy. Brian comes. And the brother goes, hey, which one of you is Lanai? And I go, oh, that's me. He goes, you met my brother yesterday. He gave you the tour of the factory. And I go, yeah. He goes, what a nice guy. He goes, did you used to do radio? And I go, yeah. He goes, my brother said your voice sounded familiar. And I go, tell him I used to do radio in Hawaii. He goes, he went to University of Hawaii for 2 years. And he used to listen to these two guys, Lanai and Augie. And I was like, that's me. And he goes, everyone's coming from the factory. Everyone. We're bringing the whole factory to the truck. I was like, what? They got like 500 people working this factory. But all these little things happen like that.
I really got to go and watch it. But it's not all shown.
No, it's not all shown. You got 50 minutes to show 8 teams, you know. As it gets closer to the ending of the race, you see more,
Yeah. Wow, that I think that's one of my favorite stories I've ever heard on the podcast.
No, you're just being nice.
No, I've never gotten chicken skin like that.
That's so
bad.
Cool.
So I was gonna ask, what do you think helped you win the race? But it's really the support of the local and Hawaiian people, right?
100%.
Yeah.
It was the connection.
Yeah.
It was the, you know, if I didn't call Brooklyn, if I didn't call a couple of other friends and they didn't call somebody else, it was that Coconut Wireless. We mentioned it all throughout the show, you know. It really was it. We know my brother can cook. His food was amazing. People were buying 3-4 plates because they were homesick, you know. We had the marketing down. We had the color of the truck was the brightest out of all of them. Yeah. Everybody loves Hawaii. Yeah. Everything fell into place for those 2 months. Yeah. And we had to leave our jobs. He quit his job to do it. He calls me up one day and I go, hey, we're going to do this thing for the Food Network. It's called the Great Food Truck Race. It's a competition. He goes, how long is it? How long do I need to take off of work? My brother. And I go, well, according to the email, if you win, you know, it's 8 weeks. Each team gets eliminated. So I'm not going to waste my time. We're going to win. So you need to take 8 weeks off. So he goes, let me call you back. And he called me back. He was working for the Westin, I think, at the time. Okay. He calls me back. I go, what did your boss say? He goes, I quit. So I said, I quit too. Let's go. So we went and won.
Wow. We already all your chips in.
Yeah, we already said we were going to win before we even got to LA.
That's awesome.
And I don't tell too many people that, but we did.
You got to be confident.
You got to.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to go just to sightsee.
Right. Waste time.
Yeah, last time we were in this studio, we talked to a kid called Casimiro.
Yeah.
He said, you know, he doesn't want to go to these competitions just to sightsee.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to go there and win.
Yeah, you got to go there and win. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. What was the difference between that one and then the All-Star one? Because you just did the All-Star.
Yeah, All-Stars was very difficult.
And did it air yet? Or?
It's airing right now.
Okay.
And I'm not going to make excuses for it, but it was shot during the pandemic, so nobody could go anywhere. There were selected places you can go. The second thing was the 7 other teams, and I'll say it on camera, were scared of us. So they were attacking us in the sense. You
guys were a target.
We were a big target. Yeah, they accused us of cheating. I mean, just stupid stuff. Yeah. So the other thing was 4 of the trucks were from California. So that's like, you can call all your family and friends, right? We couldn't call our family and friends. In California? Yeah, they shot everything in San Francisco because they wanted us in a bubble. So we rented out. They rented out the whole Marriott. We stayed in the Marriott. We drank in the Marriott. We did everything in the Marriott. We took all our COVID tests every 2 days. It was a hard one, and then we were older too. We were the oldest team, I think.
Yeah, because it first aired in 2013 when you did it.
We won season 4, and they're already on season 12, maybe.
Okay.
So they took the first 8 seasons.
Okay.
Winners. Yeah. It was a cool experience, but yeah.
Yeah.
We made it to the final. We didn't do so well. Sorry, spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Oh wow, well that's cool.
Yeah.
I think what's really cool about this story and just hearing how supportive people from Hawaii are is that it really makes you feel blessed to be from this.
Hell yeah.
This place.
That's why I can't move.
So different. Yeah, it's so different than everywhere.
Everyone's moving away. I get it. It's expensive and this and that, but I'd rather be poor and live here. Like, I get job offers to go, really good job offers to leave, and I can't. I want my girls to live here. I want them to be raised here. You know, if they want to move, they can, but I'm not moving. I'm dying here.
Yeah. It's a give and take, you know. It's like beautiful place to live, amazing things to do, amazing culture.
Yeah.
High cost of living.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus, I got shitty skin. I can't live in Vegas. It's too dry.
Yeah, you go broke just buying lotion.
Yeah. I'm flaky. You know what I mean? I got to stay here.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Well, yeah, shout out to everybody here in Hawaii and the amazing culture that we have. I think about it every now and then, just how blessed we are.
Yeah.
And even with the upbringing I have, having the Hawaiian language, Hawaiian culture. So it's a very unique thing that not everybody has. And
people are jealous of what we have. You know, everyone.
That's why they
is.
love the brand of Hawaii.
Yeah.
They want to come here. They want to live here. You know, I think a lot of it sometimes is, you know, they get a little too excited. They don't think about how it affects the locals.
Yeah.
You know, how they buy house.
But it goes the other way too. Local people also got to understand visitors, tourism, what we have is in high demand. And that's how we're going to stay alive. Finding the balance is the hard part, right? Because we always say, well, no more visitors here.
Yeah.
You cannot. There's no way you're going to reverse that. Change is going to happen no matter what. Change has been happening since the beginning of time. When you die, change is still going to happen, right? We just have to figure out how to balance it better and make it more, like, for example, Vancouver, the Chinese were buying up all the property. They set a law about 3 years ago, I think, maybe longer. If you're a foreigner, you pay triple the amount of tax. So it stopped them from buying it. So they're figuring out the balance there. We got to stop complaining about it and start fixing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stop sitting around going, we don't want this, we don't want that. Stop coming here, stop doing that. Well, let's find a solution instead of complaining about it.
Yes.
That's always been my thing. You know?
And it makes us have that reputation of angry locals, angry
Right.
Hawaiian.
And what is aloha? I'm all about spreading aloha. If you break down aloha isn't using anger to change anything. Aloha is using love. You know, aloha is the key to fixing things, but you can't do it in a angry fashion. You can't do it in a spiteful way. There's a way to do it.
Yeah, and we have to get back to the roots of that. Even dancing hula, for example, when I was in school, if you're you had a bad attitude, they said don't even come. Just come. Sit on the side until you have your na'au.
You feel good about it.
Yeah, you have the aloha.
Yeah.
But exactly, like it really matters. Yeah. So, aloha, Hawaiiverse podcast listeners. I'm your host Kamaka Diaz, and I'm here to tell you the difference between Hawaiiverse podcast and Hawaiiverse. I know a lot of people get confused and think Hawaiiverse is Hawaiiverse podcast. Well, they're all connected. Hawaiiverse podcast is a branch of our business, Hawaiiverse, which is an online platform that we created to support local businesses. We started off as a coupon directory with just 40 businesses in Hilo, and we expanded statewide, and now we have over 1,000 businesses on our website and coupons so you can go and support local businesses. We also have an e-commerce store, kind of like the Etsy and Amazon of Hawaii, so that you can buy local products and support local businesses. So make sure you check it out, Hawaiiverse.com. We have a lot more bigger updates coming your way. But for now, enjoy this podcast and enjoy all the local deals you get from Hawaiiverse. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we got to get into Instagram questions. Okay, so we got a couple.
Did we?
Yeah.
You said I was going to get a lot. We got a couple?
We got a couple. Well, I said a couple, but there's 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like too many, but we'll see. This one I'm a little confused by, but I'm thinking it's an inside joke, so that's why I'm reading it. This is from Jamie Kailani.
Okay.
She says, what I going to do?
So that's Bruno Mars' sister.
Okay.
His oldest sister, and she's one of my dearest, best friends forever since high school. When I was on the radio for so long, I became what my friends would say a teen counselor, because all the teenagers would call, and then I broke up with my girlfriend. I broke up with this, or what I got. So the line was that she always, whenever she sees me, she always says, "Oh, Lanai, what I gonna do?"
I get it.
Because I'm always helping people. I think that's what it derived from, Jamie. I hope so. Yeah.
So okay. So as the audience and me, we're wondering, okay, what are we going to do? Give us some advice. Any kind of advice, just advice. What are we going to do?
Always make a decision without anger, without any. Always make a decision with aloha. How's that? My grandmother. I always say when I would get into a situation, I always say to myself, "What would Tutu do?" Because Tutu always had the right words, right? Tutu always had the perfect timing, and Yeah, I think that would be my advice. Don't do it with emotion. Let the emotion get it out. Like you said, if you're not feeling good for dance hula, then sit on the side till you feel good. Do more things with aloha. It can be with anything: business, relationships, your health. Do more things with aloha. Yeah. That's the bottom line. Don't be angry about it.
Yeah. Well, we all just have to remember WWTD. What would Tutu do?
There you go.
And then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. When you react emotionally, you're not thinking rationally.
Right.
So that's a lot of times where misunderstanding and these fights happen. So yeah, great advice. Great advice. Okay. MKSD47 wants to know, what made you start the Three Local Boys?
Well, it was a collaboration it was really Jimmy the Geek and Alan Oda. It was Alan Oda's show at the time, 7 to midnight. And I think we had an amazing number. It was like 21 share. And the closest to us was like a 7 share. Now, when I say shares at the time, that's like 7 out of 10 teens listening to us on the radio. And we were playing all the hip stuff too, hip hop, R&B. And there was a spoof. Me So Horny came out, and I think there was a nasty version from 2 Live Crew. So we recreated it to make it fun, and we called it Me So Hungry. And we just kind of Jimmy started writing these words. Yeah, and we got the instrumental because we used to DJ at all the UH parties and stuff. So we had a lot of flip side records, B-side and instrumentals, and we just changed the words around, and we would play it at night. And it blew up.
You were like the local version of Weird Al Yankovic.
Before him.
Before that.
And what really helped was the three of us, me and Jimmy mostly, hosted all the Brown Bags to Stardoms at every high school. So we would do in 38, 40 high schools a year. Outer Island too. So whenever they would tally the votes, we would perform. And that's what really catapulted everything. And these schools they would erupt. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. It kind of just took off and became its own thing. You were even nominated for a Nahoku Hano Hano, right? That album.
Yeah, I never won one.
Hey, you won an Emmy, though.
I won an Emmy.
Congrats. Yeah.
And I won a telly, but not a hoku. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Okay. _Mamarazzi wants to know, out of all the hats Lanai wears, what is your most favorite?
Oh.
You wear a lot of hats.
I think my food tours internationally. I do food tours to Tokyo and Korea. I also do Europe once a year, every other year. It's probably the best, the most fun, I should say. I love doing my cooking show though. Everything. I don't do anything that I don't like doing. Like I don't show up and go, oh, here's another job. You know what I mean? People always are like, why don't you focus on one thing? I go, well, how many things you like to do? And they're like, oh, I like to do this, I like to do that. I go, how many times do you do them? How many times you been to the beach this week? We got the best beaches in the world. How many times do you go to the beach, right? Once a month, some people, local people, that are working 9 to 5, they on the weekends maybe only. If you like it, why don't you do it every day? You know what I mean? So I do everything that I like to do. So I retract my answer and I say everything that I do, I love doing. Yeah. And I hate to be cliche, but it's really not a job. I love doing them. I love food. I love cooking, the tours. It's all fun, man. And I get a check.
And you get a check. And when you get paid for what you love to do, that's even better.
It might not be a lot, but I get a check.
See, that's how I feel too. I mean, I do everything that I want to do. I create my own schedule. I do the podcast. I do stuff with Hawaiiverse. I have a side job for a little bit more stable income. But when I want to surf, I surf. When I want to hang out with people, I do that. If I have to work at 10, 11, 12, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning.
Listen to this man. Listen to him.
But I mean, it's all about just priorities and basically work. If you need to work. Yeah. But everything else on the side is what is stopping you from doing it. Yeah. The money will come.
And why are you doing things that you don't like doing is the question. That's the biggest question. Why are you in a relationship you don't want to be in? Why are you at a job that you hate going to? Why do you do it? Yeah. I was just in the Philippines the other day and I did an interview and the guy asked me, what is success to you? And I said, waking up whenever I can. That's success to me. I used to think it was money, like the big house or whatever. Now it's like, I like to wake up whenever I want. Because
When
that
do you
means
wake up?
whenever I want.
I love that.
Every day's different. I might be tired one day, so I might get up at 11. But I get up whenever I want.
You're inspiring me. I that's like what I'm going through right now. Sometimes it's hard for us to really let ourselves or give in to that feeling.
You know why?
We don't have to do a million things.
Because we worry.
Yeah.
And worry is negative energy. Negative energy takes away anything that you can think straight.
Yeah.
Worry, it always takes away thinking straight, for sure. That's a scientific fact. Like, you can't think clearly if you're worrying, right? And it's also negative energy. So you only attract negative to you. It's like telling a friend the other day, she goes out with all these losers. I go, well, you kind of attract the same type of guy, right?
People in your life are a reflection of you.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, this is making me inspired to keep doing what I do. Not that I was ever discouraged. I totally believe in everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
But just, I wake up when I want to wake up.
Good.
So
I love
if
it.
I stay up late, I'll get up. I'll sleep in a little bit. But it's nice to not have a set alarm, 6:30 every morning. And sometimes I had to, it's a struggle. Like, I should get up at 6:30 every morning, work out, do this, just because that's what everybody else is doing. That's what being productive is.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another thing. I think people, especially with social media, they go, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
You should be listening to this podcast because it's positive. You should get up at 4:30 every morning because The Rock does. And you should eat this. And on Sunday, eat as many pancakes as you want. Everyone's different. My regimen's different from yours. And Justin's is different than ours. It's different. Why do you have to follow that? Find out what's good for you, man. Find out what's good for you.
Yes. Listen, people. Listen. Don't listen to others. Just listen to yourself. Except listen to us right now. And then after that, listen to yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Love that answer. Okay. Kaloa Robinson, my stepdad wants to know, what's his thoughts about the island of Lanaʻi changing after Larry Ellison purchased it?
Without being a negative person, personally, I'm trying to be, because everyone's been asking me about this. There's a video floating around right now about how he's taking over the island and he's pushing locals out, and all of that is true. How do I feel? I'm sad. I feel really sad. I'm 3 generations Lanaʻi. It's a sad situation, but it's not new. This been going on everywhere. Oprah is the largest landowner in Maui. Do you know that? Oprah is the largest landowner in Maui. But the way she handles things doesn't give her a bad light. She hires local people. She's growing things. She's trying to make it sustainable, blah, blah, blah. Then you got the other guy from Facebook on Kauai who's Mark just doing it the wrong way. Of course people are going to get upset.
And he's like, why are people mad at me?
Because you're not, Anyway, going back to Lanaʻi, Dole owned Lanaʻi before it was a state. Now, my opinion, the state should have bought it back from Dole, right? When they became a state, they should have said, hey, we're going to take this back, or we're going to buy it back from you. Because pineapple was disappearing, in the late 80s already. Anyway, we all saw it coming. But he didn't. He sold it to David Murdoch. Now, David Murdoch is another tycoon who did oranges and horses and a bunch of other things. And he was doing it already, but there was no social media, so nobody knew what he was doing, right? And then he sells it to Ellison, and Ellison he's doing the same thing. He's doing it at a quicker pace, and now he's under a magnifying glass because of social media. Yeah. So this isn't new, people. It's happening to us every day for the last 100 years since 1790 or 17. When was it? When Cook came. It's happening everywhere too. It's not just happening here. Again, I'm sad about it. What can we do about it? I think we as local people need to get together with Aloha and sit the guy down and talk to him about what the culture is. Because when he dies, he's old already. When he dies, his 2 sons are up next. This ain't going to go away. You know what I mean? And when they might not even want it and they might sell it to somebody else, for more money. It's not going to end. We have to figure out how to play nice together in the sandbox is what we got to do. With Aloha, we cannot be getting upset about everything, Yeah, you can yell and make noise, but what is that going to do? Yeah, it never did anything before.
Yeah, I think some people, they have that thing stuck in their head, like, don't mistake our aloha for weakness.
Yeah,
so sometimes
I get
they
it.
see it as a weakness, like we're backing down. We should be like
Right.
the cause, the warriors,
Yeah.
brave, fearless. Step up, stand up for what's right. But sometimes,
we don't live in that world
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
We don't live in that world
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
We're not
exactly.
Vikings. We're not warriors anymore. I totally get it, and I'll probably get some negative feedback for saying that. I'm not saying don't stand up for what you believe or what you. I still need to figure out what's going on. I don't know everything that's going on over there, and a lot of people don't. But they have social media and they go, you know what? He's a jackass. He's a jerk. I asked my friend the other day. I said, if you had all this money, as much as him, and David Murdoch offered it to you, what would you do? He goes, oh yeah, I would buy the island. Well, you just did the same thing that he did, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, I'm going to try to figure out and give it back to the state. No way, you're not going to say that,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You're not going to say that, I guarantee you.
I think it also comes down to intent. What is your intention?
Yeah.
Why do you want to buy the island? Is it just, so you can build resorts and
Right.
have vacations for you and your rich friends, or is it to perpetuate the culture and
Yeah.
to give these jobs to people, local people?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what he's doing is totally wrong. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying now.
don't hear what you're not saying.
Don't hear what I'm not saying. Yeah, it's totally wrong. I'm totally against it. But we have to figure out a way to smooth it over instead of...
Yeah, I think just going off of that or the whole political climate of just the state of Hawaii.
I hate politics.
Yeah.
I never talk about them either. You won't see any of them on my social media.
Yeah.
And
Well,
all
there's
my
a lot
friends are
going
in
on.
it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got BJ, you got Brenton
That's
Awa
my boy.
running.
Yeah.
Brenton said, it's not we can't stop people from buying, but we should raise taxes. So kind of what you mentioned.
Yeah, we just have to change some rules.
We just got to make these little adjustments and not go to the extreme on every side.
Yeah.
Like no tourism at all.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
You just have to set
everybody
some
grow
rules.
kalo.
Yeah. It's like when you're going to school, right? You in kindergarten, you have kindergarten rules. Mm-hmm. When you get to intermediate school, there's different rules. Now you got to go class to class. It's a different... Now you're in high school, there's a different set of rules. As you grow, as things change, rules have to change with the times. And this place hasn't changed any rules. That's the hard part. You know what I mean? Not too many rules get changed here.
Yeah,
get a bunch of dinosaurs.
Run by the same
people. Right. I get it.
So yeah, we need
I hope I answered your question.
That's a good one. Okay. All right. Last one. Keakelani wants to know, what's your favorite city outside of the state of Hawaii and why?
Favorite city outside of the state of Hawaii? Anywhere?
Yeah.
Tokyo. 100%. I like the vibe. I like the people. Even though the people are in a rush, they're still respectful. I think that's why Japanese and Hawaii has this tie. Even, long before Pearl Harbor. A lot of people don't know the king and queen was trying to marry off the princess to the emperor's son, back in the 1800s. You have these sister cities. I think we have like 15 or 12 of them now in Tokyo. The respect and aloha go hand in hand, right? And that's why so many Japanese love our culture. Yeah. We love theirs. We love their food. They love ours. I just love the vibe of Tokyo. And you can still catch a train 20 minutes out and be in the country. So I've
never been there. So.
What?
Yeah,
I do food tours there. You got to come.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's my next thing.
You know what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up a social media trip, and people who have podcasts, you broadcast from the hotel.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're just talking about having live podcasts from different places.
And we have a bunch of them, like 10 of us.
That'd be cool.
But I broadcasted live from a hotel when they first opened at the Park Hotel in Japan. This was 20 years ago when they first opened. It was amazing. Ever since then, I bring food tours there. Local people to go eat 7 days, watch sumo, everything. Just get indulged in the culture.
So on these food tours, you're a tour guide?
Yeah.
Okay, and you just take them to these
locations. Put together your your hotel, your package. I take you to these hole-in-the-walls that are 100 years old. I take you to all these cool things that you would never find on your own.
And do you speak Japanese?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I have a translator there, and I know enough. I've been going there for 30 years, so I know enough. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, I got to get on that one day.
Yeah, you can follow Lanai's Travel Club Official.
Okay.
My Instagram and Facebook, yeah.
Right on. Well, mahalo for the Instagram question, everybody. Make sure you leave some for the next episode, and maybe your question will make it on the podcast.
Only 5 questions?
Well, there's more, but I
I got to
limit it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, sometimes I only do 3, so I gave you 2 extra.
All right, thanks. No, because when you asked me, I was like, "Why do people usually get a lot of questions?" I didn't want to be the one that didn't get any.
No. There's always something. There's always something. One, and then sometimes weird ones are like, I love this person, or something that's not really a question.
Yeah.
It's more like they just.
How many hate ones? Did I get?
Response.
Give me their.
I don't think I ever got
I'm
to hate
kidding,
ones
I'm just kidding.
yet. Maybe after this one.
Yeah.
I did get one question that I didn't include. It was something about why is the Union Jack still on the flag?
They wanted me to answer it?
That's why I didn't ask it.
Oh, really?
I was like, does I know this?
That was because the first relationship Kamehameha had was with the British, and there was a bond or pact, so to speak. They were going to help protect the islands. And then the stripes, 8 of them, represent each island. But there's big controversy over that flag. You know what I mean? Because there was no color, right? So we don't know if it was red, white, and blue. And then you have the yellow, and then you have the reggae color
the sovereign flag, which isn't the official flag.
No, that was created like in the 90s or something.
Yeah, that was more of a part of a movement.
Yeah,
which I think people think it's the original Hawaiian flag, but it was really just like this. Not a fad, but it was just part of this movement.
Yeah,
flag.
And it actually is a good question, because on the food truck race, every time we won, we busted out the flag. We were the only ones that had a flag.
Yeah.
And at first, the producers are like,
"Why do you have to?"
No, they're like, "Hey, you guys can't put the flag up." I go, "Why not? Why the other guys can't they?" But no one did it. Yeah, so we were always repping Hawaii.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing happened to me. I went to the X Games in Colorado back in 2016. We're trying to get on TV. I go to the front of where you can watch the competition. We had the Hawaiian flag. These girls in the back, they're like, "Why do you guys have the British flag?"
Yeah, people get confused. Yeah,
it's the
we gotta educate
flag sister.
Yeah, we gotta educate.
Yeah, but yeah, if anybody didn't know that, the Union Jack is on the Hawaiian flag because of the good relationships that we had with Britain back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because we're kind of talking about. I like to talk about culture and all this. And I'm just looking at Aloha. We talked about Aloha. What does Aloha mean to you? And you kind of already answered it.
It's a good. I like that question because a lot of people ask, like especially on the tours. I always tell people, so you look at the immigration to Hawaii, right? 1790s, the Chinese come. The early 1800s, the Japanese come. 1852, you had this huge wave of immigration because of the sugar cane. Okay, I like to tell this story. So you had Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Filipinos, Portuguese, Spanish, all working on a sugar plantation. Pineapple wasn't even introduced yet. And then you had the Hawaiians. Then you had the Portuguese. They all sat under a truck to eat lunch because there was no shade. There was no trees in a sugar plantation, right? In a pineapple field, there's no trees. So you all sat, and I realized this when I was 14 because my grandmother used to always talk about the ahupua'a, and then my grandmother always used to talk about sharing and aloha, right? So during lunchtime, you were given a kaukau tin. It was a 3-decker lunch pail. It was made out of tin. The bottom, you put your hot food. The middle, your rice. And the top, your vegetables. Because there was limited amount of shade on the plantation, you sat under a truck. They put newspaper on the ground. Everyone sat in a circle. You hold your rice in one hand and your chopstick in the other. Because we were all Asian. You put your hot food in the middle and your vegetable in the middle. And the Hawaiians told everybody what? Share. The Hawaiians taught aloha, right? That's how we share, right? The Chinese guy had noodles and rice. The Japanese guy had his teriyaki. And the Filipino guy had his adobo. And the Hawaiian guy maybe had some fried fish and poi. So what happened? We shared. Everything shared. That's how the plate lunch was created. That's how our menus were created. And what did the Hawaiians do when you came? We shared everything. We shared our land. That's why we lost it all. So my grandmother used to say all the time, we shared our food. What do you do when you invite? My mom still does it today. I'm like, I'll go home and there'll be 6 strangers in the house eating. I'm like, Mom, who's these people? Oh, I don't know. They was on the street. They were visiting and I invited him to eat, They still do it today. My grandmother, before she passed, she would always once a week, make like a big pot of beef stew or chili, and there'd be Tupperware all over the table. And I remember I was like 7. I'm like, Grandma, how come you make so much? There's only 6 of us. She goes, never mind. You bring this to Uncle next door. You bring this to Auntie. And then the next day we would get a box of avocados or mangoes, or that's what they did on the ahupua'a, right? We never sold anything. We shared everything. Yeah. That's aloha.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good definition.
It's the best way to put it.
It's so simple. It's like, that's how it was when I was living in Madagascar. It was this communal feel.
Yeah.
Where you would have random people invite you into their house and feed you.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen?
Yeah. It still happens on the outer islands and the little towns, here and there, but we need to bring that back. I always tell my friends, that come on the food tour, my daily food tour, I tell them, when you go home, I challenge you to invite a neighbor over that you don't know for dinner. Yeah. They're going to think two things. One, you're nuts and you kill them. Or the second thing is you're going to become really good friends. Yeah. Right? We don't do that in our neighborhoods anymore. We don't do that with people anymore. Everything's quick. We got to go fast.
Yeah, everyone has their own agenda. Yeah. Don't have time for it.
That's really what we got to bring back is community to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, community. All right, so that's a really good answer. Aloha. Yeah, it's my favorite word besides ohana.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine too.
I got ohana on my
nice
arm. All right, so you do a million things. How do you balance everything?
Good question. Lucky thing for the calendar on this thing. I still screw it up. One of the things I always screw up is catch the plane at the wrong time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going from Jakarta to the Philippines, and the flight was at 12 a.m. So I thought it was 12 noon. I went the wrong day. I did that like 5 times.
That makes sense. So that's a little harder than
yeah. I've done that like 5 times. How do I balance? You know what? It's I'm getting better at it. I don't think I'm a pro at it. No, and I think it's not easy. I think what happens with me is I get to the point where I'm exhausted, and then I go, okay, slow down. But as you get older, you get exhausted more quickly. You don't have the energy as much as you did, so you become more aware. And a big part of it is saying no. So I have to say no a lot. And it sucks because I do everything, like especially community stuff. I'm do a lot of community stuff, and I don't tell everybody because that's what I want to do. And that's, but saying no has been a big one for me, not taking on so many things.
Yeah. Thanks for not saying no to us.
Of course. No, you asked me a while ago.
I did, yeah. I messaged you and then I sent an email. Then I just randomly saw you. So
and then we ran into each other.
Yeah, I was checking your location. I was like, hey, he's over here. I can finally corner him. I got him. He can't tell me no in person.
Wait, what location? What are you talking about? Yeah, so everything happens when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's going to happen when it's supposed to. And that's the other thing. I always think if I get hired for a gig or I get asked to do a gig and it doesn't work out or something, then it wasn't meant to be. So I become more comfortable with being it wasn't meant to be. Even with relationships. I'm not good with relationships because of my job. And not because I don't want to be in one, because I'm busy and I'm traveling. So I become more easy with if it works out, it's going to work out. If it's not, don't force it and don't make it negative. Yeah. I think that's the best way.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, I'm similar to that too, where it's just like you got to do your own thing. Yeah. If it meshes well, then that's fine.
Don't force it.
Don't force it. Yeah, it's just like super organic. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. You're an entrepreneur, that's why.
Yeah, I guess you let things come to you and opportunities just keep flowing. Yeah. I think one thing as I noticed as I got to know her too is, slowing down a lot. Yeah. Because I'm 29. I probably look younger.
You look 18.
Yeah. So I was going
to say, what are you worried about? You got a long way to go.
I'm almost 30. So, I got a decent amount of life experience. But I've been burnt out so many times. So, but you don't know, how to approach it or the signs until you actually go through it. You have to go through it so you can understand.
And I think the difference between you and me is I worked in a pineapple field for 4 years, which is the worst job in the world. Hot, heat, everything you can think of. So working for me is not working. That was working. Yeah. And I always said, I'm never going to do a hard labor job again. Your boy shook my hand and he's like, do you have lotion on your hands? I go, no. I just keep my hands soft.
That's how you know he's
never going to make them hard again.
Labor job.
I don't want no girls telling everybody, his hands are hard.
That's funny. Hey, but sometimes people like that. It's like, I work construction. Stop, honey girl.
Good for you, but not me.
Yeah. I love the life that I live. And,
yeah. You got to love your life you live or else you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I hope that more people can follow.
Yeah.
It's tough, but you know, it's tough when you have to worry about money all the time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what though? That was my biggest thing, was always worrying about it. But if you do everything with good intent, and you're hustling and you're working, and it's what you love, it'll happen.
Yeah, it'll come.
Don't worry, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might not be, you know, a bountiful amount of money.
No.
You may not become a millionaire, but I swear, being happy and like doing
Is
what you
much
love
better.
is so much better.
I had a lot of money at one point.
I never.
A lot of people. I had a lot of money at one point. I had 3 homes, I had cars,
Wow.
and I went bankrupt. But I was living the fast life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I was going 150 miles an hour, and that was my life lesson. And Larry Price, you know Larry Price? He has
Why
8
does that
degrees.
sound
Larry,
familiar?
Perry and Price in the morning,
sounds super
biggest radio
familiar.
DJs
Yeah,
in the
okay.
world. He's retired now. He's the coach. He used to be a coach for UH. He was one of my big mentors. He is one of my big mentors. He always used to tell me, slow down. And I go, I want to be rich already. He goes, how many houses you got? I go, I got 3. He goes, how many more you need? And I go, yeah. And then the next time I saw him, he'd tell me, slow down. And I go, I need to make more money. You know, I want to make more money. And you know what he told me? He goes, it's not your turn yet. And then he told me that again. And then he told me that again. And finally, after the 3rd time, I said, why every time you tell me it's not my turn yet? He goes, because you haven't learned how to manage money yet. You're still going through the lessons of learning how to manage your money.
Yeah.
2 years later, bankrupt. You know what I mean? So ever since that, I've learned to slow down and take it as it comes and not be... You can hustle all you want, you know, but don't kill yourself. You
So
know?
you were working hard and playing even harder.
Playing, yeah. You know, when people say work hard, play hard, I still have that kind of concept, that theory, but not as
More
much as I
control.
was when I was in my
Yeah.
20s. Yeah, I was going hard, man.
Especially when you're young and you start to get a decent amount of money.
Yeah, and you didn't have it.
You don't have too many expenses.
You don't know how to
You're just
manage
paying
it.
rent. Yeah.
You know,
You go
more
nuts.
money, more problems
Yeah.
is real, man.
Hey, cheers to that.
It's real. Really is.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So what's next for you? You know, what does the next 5, 10, 15 years look like for you?
I'm been trying to. I like always do things in a like, okay, I get to this goal and then I set another one.
Yeah.
Not this one. I like to do this. I'm gonna try to live in Japan for 6 months
Oh.
in the next 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, take care of everything here, and then just live in, and then travel all over Japan, learning all the different regional foods. Because there's so many different regional foods.
Yeah.
Fruits, vegetables, everything. I did the Philippines for 1 month. Learned all the different regional foods. I probably got a quarter of it. But after I did it, it was a thing for CNN that I did. And after I did it, I thought, I want to do this in Japan. I want to do it in all the countries that Hawaii has been influenced by their food. So I want to do Portugal. I did Spain last year for 2 weeks, but I want to do it for 3 months.
Okay.
Or 6 months. I need to do Portugal. I've done China a little bit, not enough. China's so big. I need to do a lot more China. Korea. I'm going to Korea this year. I've been there about 6 times. But I want to do a 3 month, 6 month, and learn the regions of the food. That's my next thing. And I want to bring a cameraman with me.
Yeah, kind of like a vlog.
No, I want to make a show out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to create a show out of it. I'm doing a new show right now with BJ, BJ Penn.
Is that what you were in the Ruka place
Yeah,
for? I remember
yeah.
seeing that.
So we've been working on the show for about 1.5 years now. We just finished shooting the pilot. I can't. That's all I can say about it. But it'll come out. It's coming out soon. We're in negotiation with a couple big dudes, so
Nice.
we'll see what happens.
Oh,
it's
that's exciting.
gonna be a dope show though.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that's been a dream of mine.
Oh.
Especially I've known BJ forever, and we just get along so well. We always have a good time together. So we always thought we should put a camera on us.
Does it have anything to do with martial arts?
No.
You can't. Okay.
It has a lot to do with sports and people's what they do to become champions.
Okay.
Yeah, mentally, physically, fuel, everything.
Yeah.
That's what the show's about, based upon. But I don't want to give the name or anything because it's going to be like, I don't want the idea to get ripped.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, and I feel like you have such a good background. Like I don't. Maybe you became became a world champ that I don't know.
No,
about,
none.
but-
Well, that's the beauty of it. It's a guy who's who sits on the couch and watches TV and the world champion.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
It's
It's
dynamic.
the yin and the yang.
Yeah, but also you've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot. You've had success in other ways than becoming a champion. Plus, you have the work ethic. You were instilled these values since you were young, and like hardships. Tough times make tough people.
Yeah.
And just listening to your story, I can tell you've learned a lot just from life.
I
Life
learned
has
a
been
ton.
your best teacher. I mean, you grew up without a dad.
Yeah.
Like that alone just is tough. And
Yeah.
on a small island, so many things that you had going against you.
Yeah.
And you turned out right.
I love it though. I like when so many things are against me.
Yeah.
You know what I've been doing lately? I've been challenging my friends to 50-yard dash. I don't care how old they
50-yard
are.
dash.
17, 60, whatever.
Let's go right now.
Yeah, we'll go. We got to get
Right
the
down the
camera.
hallway.
We got to get the camera out. And I've been winning
Wow.
because I talk them out of it. From the beginning, I'm like, I can beat you in a 50-yard dash. And they're already like, what?
Like Conor McGregor in them.
Yeah.
Mind
I gotta, you better stretch. I've had like 4 races already. It's so funny.
The great Lanai race.
Let's hashtag.
To the Lanai.
Yeah. The Lanai challenge.
Yeah. You gotta make like a social media trend.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie Hustle?
Yes, I watched it last night.
Oh, it's great, right?
What is it, Bo?
Yeah.
What a great movie.
But yeah, the Ancho Hernan
Yeah.
Gomez, he's a real NBA player.
What a great
That was cool.
movie.
But they had the Boa challenge.
Yes, Boa
It
challenge.
could be
That's
like
what
the
it is.
Lanai challenge.
Yeah.
You just like go out to Chinatown
Challenge
or
people.
wherever.
That's what we've been talking about, like doing. You're bringing a camera and they'll say, hey, $50 if you can beat me in a 50-yard dash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to pay me if you lose.
Yeah. That's fine. We don't have anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I mean, I might just have to do it.
Yeah, let me know. I'll bring some people out to watch. Okay. Well, I'm really excited to see what else you're going to do. You also have the book.
Yeah.
coming out, so
I
stay tuned
finally
for that.
finished
Do you
it.
have a date that?
I was looking at September 27th, but I don't think I'm going to make it.
Okay.
I've been writing it for 8 years now. And it's one of the scariest things that I think I've ever done.
Very vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah.
But what I'm afraid of more is if it doesn't sell. You know what I mean? Like if it doesn't sell, it's like I put 8 years into this thing, and it's off and on. I'm not doing it every day, but you get into these grooves of writing and then releasing, and then when you write, you get emotional. Yeah. I just recently saw that Will Smith thing because you watch the slap and then you start watching all these Will Smith things. Did you see the thing the vlog he did about him writing his book?
No, I didn't.
He got very emotional writing it, and same thing. Like I started writing about certain people and I got really emotional, and then it took a couple days like to get through it, and then I'd put it away and then I would go back and write, and then the emotions come back again. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because we don't write anymore.
Yeah.
We're texting and as short as possible, and
Yeah. It's hard to step
Tweeting.
away and limit the distraction because I'm also writing a book too.
Nice.
I published a book about my time in the Peace Corps.
Yeah. What's it
So-
called?
It's called So Far.
I want to get it.
I'll give you a copy.
No, I'll
yeah.
buy a copy. I gotta support. Is it
Yeah.
on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. I can get you. I got a couple copies.
Okay.
on
Did you
Amazon.
publish? Did you self-publish?
Through Amazon. Yeah.
I'm gonna self-publish. How was the process?
Self-publishing is super easy on Amazon. Basically, you go to a big publishing house if you want the marketing side of it.
I got offered
Yeah.
two
Yeah,
publishing.
so that's the only difference.
I don't want it though.
You can self-publish as long as you think you can market it, which you have a big
Yeah.
enough name, which I'm pretty sure you could sell, thousands to hopefully 1 million copies.
Well, I did 2 cookbooks
Yeah.
through publishing companies, and I don't like the deal.
but you have a lot of fans all over the world, so I'm pretty
I don't know
sure-
about that,
I'm
but-
pretty confident that
Thank you. I should
'cause your
stop
story
being
alone-
negative.
Your story alone is very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll do well. My next book is about in 2020. I did this thing called the Race to 50K, where I paid off $53,000 of student loans in 1 year. Just
I
by doing
heard
odd
about
jobs.
that.
Yeah, that was me. I had long hair.
No way.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, so I'm writing that, and it's just like I said right after it, I'm gonna post a book.
Good for you. How did you do it? Steal? Rob?
No, it's all legal. My thing was anything as long as it's legal.
There you go.
So I did yard work. I delivered things. I babysat. I dressed up as Buzz Lightyear for kids' birthday party.
No
made
way.
things, sold things.
So you just did
Like,
everything you possibly could do to hustle.
Yeah, just people would just message me like, "Hey, I got this job for you. I'll do it." So I worked every day and I documented the whole thing too. So it's
Did
all
you
on social
really?
media for a year.
So you're gonna put all those together?
Yeah, so I basically have recaps of every single week. Every week I had a YouTube video that I would post. So it's all there. I just have to kind of consolidate.
Send me the link. I want to see that. Good for you, bro. That's a good one.
Yeah, model. So that's kind of how I like my claim to fame.
That's awesome.
But I just, after I was so burnt out, that's how I knew I was burnt out. I was working every single day plus posting. I was running a whole entire business, but doing every single part of it. The scheduling, the work, the posting, the logistics, like everything.
Posting's hard, man.
It is. I know you post so much.
Well, I'm lucky because it gets sent to me. Like I wake up in the morning and if I don't post, if you're not following me, I only post positive.
You should be following him.
I only post positive
Always
things and
stuff.
fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much negativity right now. So I made a point that it's going to be funny, it's going to be educational, or it's going to be light. It's not going to be nothing serious. I mean, once in a while, if somebody passes, I want to give a tribute to them or what have you.
Yeah.
But I only do funny stuff. So when I wake up in the morning, if I don't post anything funny, I'm like, it feels like I'm about 100 people's cup of coffee. Like, hey, you didn't post anything to get my day started. I'll get those messages. So in the last year, maybe, people send me videos. So if I laugh, I post it.
You just share it.
Yeah,
Nice.
so in the morning, I'll get like 60, 70 videos. I still got to go through them, but at least I'm not hunting.
Yeah.
And then I do follow some crazy people. So, yeah, I try to make it fun.
That makes sense. So it's already there. You just share it after you.
Half of it, maybe 50% of it. The other half is I run over it or I come across it or. But I don't know if it's all funny to everybody. It's funny because you'll post something and like I think it's funny as hell, and like 6 or 7 people will comment or whatever, and then something I don't think is that funny, I'll get like 20 people comment.
All perspective.
Yeah.
Like,
what's wrong with me?
Things. Yeah. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the podcast. Just got a couple more questions I want to ask you. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Oh man, I don't like this question.
If you could be remembered for 2 things, does that make it better?
A couple people have asked. You know what? I'll give you the last answer. Somebody asked me that he was a nice guy. That's all. Yeah. I think a lot of people think I'm a dick because I hustle, or I mean, there's a lot of jealousy and haters, but I think that's what fuels my fire, and I don't pay attention to them. Yeah. I'm nice about it, and I think that makes them think I'm a dick too again. Yeah. But yeah, I don't wish no bad feelings on people. I try to help everybody I can. I help too many people, you know, probably. I shouldn't be, like I said, I got to say no more, but I want to help everybody. I think that was my purpose, is to try to help everybody, you know. When I started the radio station, I try to hire as many locals as I could, you know. Every time I have any business, you know, I try to hire as many locals as I can. And yeah, I maybe just put on my tombstone, he was a nice guy.
Yeah. I see that.
I
vouch for you. I think at first, especially
you.
with social media too, and you see somebody like who seems very busy.
Yeah.
It seems like they don't have enough time for other people.
No,
like,
that's not true with me.
Or, you feel like you're inconveniencing them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes when I reach out to people too, I'm just like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's like,
especially you're booking them for you're booking them for your show, and how some people think, how's it going to benefit them? I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't. That part doesn't really bother me because I have a cooking show and these other shows, so I got to always constantly book people. Yeah. If they see the benefit of it, it's a win-win. If they don't, then it's cool. They don't have to do it. It's more along the lines of, like, okay, so during the pandemic, me and one of my best friends, Mike Gangloff, we did the show Aloha Challenge, and we fed 1,000 kupuna a day because they couldn't leave their homes. And you'll be surprised how many people attack you for doing that. Like, who where are you doing all the money? Oh, how come I'm getting a steak dinner? I wanted a pasta dinner. Like, so many negative things come with doing positive things. Yeah. It kills you after a while, and you try to avoid it, but every once in a while when you're home and you're lying in bed by yourself, those demons attack you, the devil attacks you, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not doing it for that. My intent is this. And if they don't understand it, that's the hard part for me. So because I'm honest, I will tell them and be honest with them. So sometimes people think I'm a dick for being honest. But what would you rather, me be honest or lie to you?
Yeah, I love honesty. I love honesty over here.
Right?
Yeah, and I think no matter what, as long as you go in with it, like, good intention, that's on them how they react.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I was just talking to somebody about this too, you know.
But it still weighs in on you.
Yeah, it does. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you're okay with it yourself, yeah, you can be happy. Like, hey, I did this. I didn't mean any harm. I just tried to show aloha. Aloha always wins. So that at the end of the day, I can go to sleep happy. Yeah. Totally. It's not easy. It's gonna pop up every 2 o'clock in the morning.
And it doesn't happen.
Couple months,
it doesn't happen all the time. I'm just saying, those are some of the things that that get to me, but it comes with the job too. Yeah, definitely. You know? Okay, well, kind of going off of that, what is one thing you wish people knew about you that they don't? Is it that maybe you're misunderstood in that way? Yeah. Maybe. I think I'm a more of a giver than I'm a more of a giving person, I guess. Yeah. That was another thing Larry Price always used to tell me. He goes, "You're never gonna get rich yet till you stop giving away your money." Because I take care of everybody. Yeah. You know, if I only have $100 left, and you need it, I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah. Because I'm gonna go make it. I'll go make them tomorrow. I can figure out how to make it tomorrow. Yeah, maybe it's that. I'm not looking for any pity or self-pity or anything, but yeah. Well, I feel like if you're looking for self-pity, you could have gotten it already with your life story. Yeah. You know, so many, like I said, so many things were against you, and you didn't complain. You just took action. Got to. You know, that's the best way to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did you come with a life hack? Oh, yeah. You asked me about a life hack. It's the big moment. Yeah. My life hack is you have to take time for yourself. Whether it's so if you're a house mom, if you're a housewife and you have the kids 7 days a week, you need 1 day to you. If you're an entrepreneur and you work 7 days a week, because that's what entrepreneurs do, you need 1 day for you. If you're in a relationship and you're with that person 7 days a week, you need 1 day for you. I don't care what it is. Some of us need 2 days. Some of us need a vacation. Yeah. You know, relationships, I always tell my friends, you know, I seem like to be a counselor with a lot of my friends. My mom was a counselor, that's why. I think a lot of people, like in relationships especially, if you're always with each other and you're always working, there needs to be date nights, and then there needs to be just you and your boys and you and your girls nights. You know, if it's a vacation 1 week, do it. But people have to take time for themselves. I think it's very important. That's my life hack. Yeah. I do it as much as I can. I like to be alone. I'm alone a lot. You know, even though as many things as I do, I'm alone a lot. And I've been alone a lot lately because I've realized that people's energies cling on you, and you got to go jump in the ocean sometimes and take all the pilikia off, and, you know, you got to, you know, do that, what they do in Vegas, you know. Yeah. So take some time to be alone and be by yourself. Yeah, I love that. I totally agree. Yeah. What is something that you do when you're not working? What some of your coping mechanisms? Like, oh, I just had a super long week. What do you do? You just veg out and watch Netflix? You read a book? You jump in the water, surf? I do the veg out one time a month. Watch stuff on TV or stay in bed. Don't get out of bed. 1 time a month at least I try. But I travel a lot. I love to travel and go, and I'll get lost. You know, I went to Madrid for Christmas for 2 weeks by myself. Oh, nice. Yeah, and I just freaking went and got lost because I had a rough year last year, you know, and I was like, I'm going to go away and just get lost, you know. I do that a lot. No map, no Google Maps, none of that. Yeah. Just keep walking. I love that. Yeah. Like Billy Jack in Kung Fu movie. That's awesome. I really love that. I do that while traveling or just driving too. I don't like to use driving is cool too. Because I'm just like, hey, I know I got to go this way. As long as I go this way, I'll eventually get to my destination. And I'm really good at not getting lost, you know. Yeah. I don't know why. Direction. Yeah, I get a good sense of direction. But I like to tell myself that until I get lost. Do you get lost? I very rarely get lost. I try to get lost is what I'm trying to do. But I noticed that if you can't be alone with yourself, nobody else wants to be alone with you. Because you're probably a jackass. You know what I mean? No, alone time is huge. I love my alone time, especially when you live in the middle of nowhere alone for 3 years. You kind of
Love it.
Yeah, I gotta hear more of your. You gotta come on my podcast. We'll talk about Madagascar.
Definitely. Yeah, love your podcast. I think
and my cooking show.
And your cooking show. Whatever, just let me know. I'm always down. The next most exciting thing is what I always do.
Cool.
All right, so last question. Favorite local businesses to support?
There's so many.
Just friends, whatever comes to your head.
Anything that has to do with food, for sure. Like I'm always trying to keep the old school ones open, you know. I go to Zippy's once a week. I like plan it out. I go to Zippy's once a week. Nice. I go to Liliha Bakery once a week. I go to Ethel's Grill once a week. I try to, if not get takeout, I try to go to Jane's Fountain once a week. All the local hole in the walls. I just oxtail soup at, what is that, on Ward. I just went the other night. I'm always looking for the local restaurants to support because, again, our food is our culture. And if we keep losing them, I think we lost 80 during the pandemic. So many. We're screwed. Yeah. And local people, you guys keep eating at the chains. That's not going to help anything. The chains will always be there. You know what I mean? They're always going to be there. Reach. Go to these local restaurants and support them. I don't know what else more to say on that side. Local products, support all of them as much as you can.
Hawaiiverse, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I know you guys are doing an amazing job. Good job with doing that. Try to. I know you're gonna have to go to Walmart once in a while and get toilet paper. I get it, because no local company makes toilet paper. But you can go to Walmart and see if there's local fruits or vegetables in there, because there are. Target carries local fruits and vegetables. They carry local coffee. Try to get those things. That's all. I mean, support the local products and food-wise as best you can.
I love that. I think as long as we're conscious about our decisions to support local, we shift our mindset to be like, okay, maybe I'll shop local as much as I can, but I love Taco Bell. Maybe just like at 12 o'clock at night, I'll go to Taco Bell because no place is open but Taco Bell at 12 o'clock at night, you know?
And on that subject, a lot of people don't know, I see a lot of people complaining about Zippy's and prices. Zippy's supports a lot of local farms. A lot of local farms. And they give a lot of local jobs. One of the biggest in the state. Look how many there are. You know what I mean? So don't complain about if this costs a little bit more. Like my eggs, I've been always buying like the cheapest eggs. And not anymore. For the last 5 years, I buy Calais eggs, Peterson eggs, anything local from Hawaii, even if it's freaking $1 more. I buy them.
Yeah, I mean that's a small price to pay to not pay the corporation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and
it's going to a local family. You know, it's sustaining them. It's not just going to some rich person who has a company in Delaware or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Good. Keep doing it, brother.
Yeah, we're trying. Okay. Well, last one. I was just curious because it seems like this trend of, these well-known figures, local figures in Hawaii, starting to run for office. DJ, Benton, Chad Owens. Do you think that's ever in your future?
No. I will never get it. Yeah, I've been. Me and Augie have this conversation all the time. My boy Augie,
exactly.
My boy.
Yeah.
And I support all of these guys, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't do it publicly, but I support all of them. They know. They all know. I will not ever because of my business. So I know a lot of different situations where this company was a sponsor of my show and they supported this candidate, but because I use this product or this company, then they dropped that. Yeah. Not with me, but I've seen it happen to other entertainers, businesses and stuff like that. And it's happening a lot more lately. That's the first reason. Second reason is I'm not a politician. I'm not going to get into politics. I don't know where to start. I don't have time for it. I don't understand the state, the Senate, the House. It's all freaking Korean to me. I don't understand, and I don't want to understand. I got too many other things to understand and figure out. I want to learn Hawaiian language. I don't want to learn what goes on over there. Because at the end of the day, politics is gridlock. It's like traffic. You can move this car and you're going to go up, but you cannot move to the right because the other guy is still there. Unless every seat in the house gets moved out and these guys move in. It'll never all move in conjunction with each other. It's because of the rules and laws that we have, So when you look at, I've traveled so much to understand this. You look at other countries, like I love Japan. There hasn't been one shooting in I don't know how long. There's no DUI. Why?
No littering.
There's no littering. Why? Because everyone follows the rules. Americans are spoiled. We're all spoiled. Entitled. I don't care who you are. You're going to say, that's okay. That's not my right. Well, if you don't like it, go move somewhere else, you know? And I don't have thick enough skin to be a politician. I cry. I go sit at home and cry. Oh, this guy said something bad about me.
So what happens if somebody posts something on social media that you don't like? Comments, you know?
I don't.
Comment section warriors.
No, yeah, you won't see it on my thing.
Oh, you just don't. You don't
Yeah,
look at
I don't. Yeah, I don't fight with them. I don't argue with them. I don't post. Like if you notice, post something about guns or something. It's not what I'm saying. It's what they're saying, and I don't leave a comment.
Yeah, and it's funny. I saw your story. I think it was this morning.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was a comedian.
Yeah.
Not a comedian. Well, it was a comedic.
John,
yeah.
It was what's his name from the Tonight Show or what's his name? I love that kind of because I'm a comedian. I do stand up. I look at things different like they do.
Yeah.
So I can find the humor in these things, which that's my way of getting some messages
and
across.
flipping it into a positive.
Yeah,
form.
100%.
Yeah, which I think people. I mean, this is my opinion. I think people are soft these days. I think people are
totally
really
soft.
sensitive.
Totally
Growing up,
soft.
I mean, listen, like the songs the Tree Local Boys used to do.
Oh man,
how many people would be like, "That's so offensive"?
We can't really. We're putting out the best of right now. We're gonna put out the best of digital, and there's like 4 or 5 songs we cannot put out. Soul Brada was one of them. We can't put that out. There's a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like comedy is kind of its own category, though. Like you should.
Yeah. It's right now. It's having a shitty light because of the slap and the people attacking the stage and blah blah blah. But now people are making fun of it. It's gonna shift over, I think.
Yeah.
But you can't take away a comic's right to say what he believes and says. You know.
Yeah.
It's fun, man. It's what comics do.
Yeah.
That's what we do growing up, right? The Portuguese tease the Hawaiian, the Hawaiian tease the Filipino.
And that's actually part of our culture.
It is part of our culture.
Yeah.
I did a post when the Great Food Truck Race was happening, All Stars, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. And I posted the Korean team, and they're friends of mine. And I would when I greet them, I go, "Hey, it's the North Koreans," and they would laugh, you know. And I did a post here. Here we are with the North Koreans. And the Koreans attacked and attacked and attacked. So then I put up an apology because I said, hey, part of our culture is like this and blah, blah, blah. And the Food Network calls me and goes, take it down. Don't apologize to nobody. They were on my side.
Yeah.
Take it down. Don't apologize to nobody. They're all being weak. You know, if they can't handle that, then they shouldn't be following you.
Or also just don't look at it.
Don't look at it. It's so easy. Yeah.
Like
but
so
I had
simple.
like 200, 300 Koreans attacking me from LA.
Okay, that's scary.
Yeah, but there was also Koreans that said, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My Korean friends are like, shut the hell up. I'm Korean.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny.
That's funny, yeah.
Can't win.
So I can make those jokes.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, well, again, mahalo for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time. And
shout out to Justin. I don't know if he was paying attention.
Jordan.
You paying attention?
Yeah, call him anything. He won't hear. He has headphones
were you falling asleep the whole time?
Jamie.
Sorry. Jordan, I'm sorry. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Oh,
we're just giving you some clout right now.
All right,
he's the one that's gonna make all the nice IG
good.
clips that we're gonna push out.
Yeah, complexion.
Yeah,
like Filipino.
Yeah,
yeah. Soft like my hands. He got it.
All right. Okay.
Hey, you don't want any girls. You don't want any girls telling other girls his hands are all crusty. You know what I mean? When he touched my bilat, was all crusty, his hands.
That's like great advice right over there.
Lotion up,
yeah,
people.
Lotion up, people. All right, well, mahalo to Lanai for joining us on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Check us out on Hawaiiverse.com, the best place to support local. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. New episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and you'll hear me next time on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Hui ho.
Thanks, brother, for having me.
Yeah.